Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Supergirl. This time we're on episode 6 of season 6, the second part now. Hopefully this doesn't end up on another cliffhanger and force us into a part 3. Hopefully this is just a two-parter. But last time we had part 1 of this kind of prom night duology, and we had Brandon and Brenda. We had Brainy and Nia going back in time as planned to collect the DNA left behind from the collision between Kara and a rogue kind of comet asteroid type thing. But then stuff went wrong, and they attracted young Kara and young Alex and young Kenny's attention, and then they had to befriend them to kind of keep their cover, and stuff went haywire. So then they had to become Brandon and Brenda instead of being Brainy and Nia. So that was fun, and we saw them kind of blending in, like Kara and Nia just had, like, even young Kara and Nia having such a wholesome and kind of warm, welcoming friendship even years back, and Kara just kind of, having like a sleepover night and everything was really fun, and Kenny being really enthusiastic to hang out with Brainy too, and he took him to the computer lab and showed him the kind of very, very old and not so state-of-the-art 3D printer, and helped him do his thing there, and we saw Brainy kind of integrating himself into the kind of college kind of clique, or clique or clique. I'm pretty sure it's clique. He joined he was goaded into the Glee club, and then from there he found his way into the math league and some other league, and eventually Kenny actually, after minutes of searching, Kenny eventually found him, having joined the baseball team, and he knows his way with the bat. He is like a master of, physics and calculations and agility and everything, so he knows his way around a baseball field. So that was cool. But we saw the tensions were still alive and well between Kara and Alex. Like Alex having wanted to go to Europe so badly, but then those plans being cancelled to actually come back home and keep an eye on Kara and make sure she didn't do anything kind of super girly just yet. Leave that for another few kind of years, or maybe like a decade or something. So she felt like she had to yet again put her life on hold just to make sure that Kara's didn't go haywire and expose all of theirs. So we had that kind of tension going on, and Alex just being that kind of person, like finally wanting to flee the nest and be her own person and to actually discover herself as well for the first time. So we had that, and Kara herself is going through some problems too. Like she's actually been accepted to go to National City University, but then it was hers and Kenny's kind of plan to stay together and to go to Midvale and be happy there and everything. And even Kenny, even knowing that she has powers, he even like they've become their own little kind of very, 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 very mild kind of vigilante group, and he's built up like a cozy little lair for them to hang out in and stuff like that. So eventually she has to tell them the truth that she actually does really want to go to National City University, and she's also been accepted there. So it's not really, something she wants to hold back on. She actually does want to leave and, get a life and of her own and stuff like that. So I think for that reason I am anticipating maybe like a non-toxic kind of mutual kind of breakup between the two of them, like them acknowledging that they want to go separate ways, and or at least like them kind of acknowledging that they want to do what feels right, but then doing that might just mean going their separate ways and still staying connected maybe, or still staying kind of peaceful between them. So we'll see. I guess we'll see. But we saw them, and we had a very, very surprise guest star popping up in her youth as well. A young Cat Grant, still a journalist, like working for the Daily Planet and reporting under Perry White and everything, and she was actually tracking Midvale's miracle stories, the miracle stories of Kenny and Kara actually secretively saving kids from wells and kittens from trees, and Midvale as a result becoming like some kind of miracle town where whenever something went wrong, someone was always around to fix it, but no one knew who it was. So she was chasing those stories, and then the spaceship stuff happened. We had like alien zookeepers who tracked Kara, and then they found out about Nia and Brainy, and then they tracked like an Altorian and a Collion, so then that screwed up with the timeline, and it meant that the guy stayed at large instead of being captured by the DEO in South America years later. So they Back to the Future, essentially. They interfered, they meddled, and then they resulted in a giant Back to the Future collision, and in the end they were trapped in a little dome, so we have to see if and how they escape that dome and fight back and everything. So it was a hectic part 1. It was a hectic and adventurous and surprisingly wholesome kind of part 1. So I can only assume, imagine even how much more of all of that part 2 is going to be. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've picked up from the last one. So on to part 2, episode 6 of the Prom Night duology again. So this one, in terms of reaction, this will just be like the kind of the highlights and stuff. But if you guys want to catch the full-length reaction, like the entire reaction for the entire episode, unedited, then that one will be over on Patreon. So you can go check that out over there. So yeah, on to episode 6 of season 6 of Supergirl. Let's go. Oh, the Kryptonian's here. Okay, nice save. Sweet save. Do you... Oh, he has a giant gun. He has a giant gun. Okay, never mind then. Kenny? Did he really trip over that? Did he really trip over that? Really? Oh, oh damn.
Now, or our friend can bore a hole through you.
That's a hell of a threat. That's a hell of a threat. Yeah. Oh, and the drone is capturing all of this.
A Pulitzer.
Okay, I mean, she's only exposing the Maxim Talk guy, right? Not Kara. She hasn't caught Kara on camera, because that will not do her any favors. That will not do any favors.
I've recloaked their ship and alerted the proper intergalactic authorities. Midvale won't be plagued by these two anymore.
So has he contacted the Judoon then, the space police? Yeah, the Judoon.
Accordingly, we should be on our way.
I know how to thank you, Brenda. Even if it was just for a little while, it was nice to not feel like the only alien in town.
I promise you won't always feel that way.
They're really gonna give me Kara and Nia feels, aren't they? They're really gonna give me Kara and Nia feels.
Supering in space.
Oh, Brainy.
Safe travels. I'm gonna enjoy the show.
Oh, she's taking pictures of the night sky.
You're stunning.
She is?
Thanks.
That is a huge step up from the purple. Hey, the purple looks great too, but this is a huge step up from the purple and the frills.
Attending prom.
Yeah. Ah. We're gonna get a prom night dance between them. Ah.
More this time. I just wish I could.
But you know you can't. Call your mom.
I know I can find the right buttons to press.
Really just trying to try every combination.
My husband can attest to that.
Oh.
Care to make a statement?
Oh god, Cat, why are you this persistent?
You make a wish?
Don't need to.
No.
Mine already came true.
No.
You're cheesier than I am.
Oh boy. That is a fiery meteor. That is a very... I know it burns up in the atmosphere, but that is a super fiery meteor filled with kryptonite. Filled with kryptonite.
I'm the Kryptonian.
Kenny, what are you doing? They okay, I was thinking like they turned him to dust or something. They just abducted him. They just abducted him. They're like they want him for their actual thing. Yeah, okay. I was so scared for a second.
Too sexy for my shirt.
Brainy.
My shirt so sexy it hurts.
Wake up every morning, get myself some breakfast.
Oh.
This is Maxim Talk with a message for all non-humans.
Oh, for all
I am the
non-humans.
Kryptonian mascot in my position.
I have to do this. And
To get him back in a way that doesn't get you both killed.
you can't stop me.
I mean, you have like a hand filled with
Actually, we
kryptonite.
can.
And a dreamer.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
over.
okay.
I'm sorry.
And a dreamer.
Except I forgot that you can't take on the big dogs when you're just a dumb human squeaky toy.
Come on, don't be so hard on
You
yourself.
listen to me, Kendall Lee.
It's Kenny.
Kenny. Oh,
First
is she
cut,
really gonna
self-deprecating drivel. You
butcher
and I
his
don't
name
speak.
too?
You don't even
First
know me.
Kira,
I
now
am a
Kendall.
journalist, trained in the art of observation.
Oh.
Sorry.
Ouch.
That's the last of
Oh,
it.
kryptonite splinters. Oh, jeez.
I need to get into natural light.
Or
It's
you
literally
could wait here, like
nighttime.
Brandon and Brenda said.
How'd you learn how to do that?
College.
She learned how to pick locks in college? Of course she did. Of course she did. Oh, so the moonlight could still work, yeah, because it's reflected off the sun, is it? Okay. Okay. Okay, that's okay, that's fair. I'll give them that. I'll give them that one, I guess, yeah.
How's it looking?
Rumble out of bed and rumble in the kitchen.
Okay. He's literally singing it how anyone else would, casually, just mumbling it along without any actual tune. PW. PW.
If it isn't the now told,
Oh! She brought the cougar to life! She brought the cougar to life out of her dreams. Are you kidding me?
What are you two waiting for? We have to get out of here.
No, is Nia at least gonna recognize that that's Cat Grant?
That's not just any reporter, that's Cat Grant.
Yeah, Nia's gonna recognize that's Cat Grant.
It's a pink cougar.
The pink cougar?
Dreams have been about.
Wait, she's the pink cougar? Really?
None of this has been about Maximum Torque at all.
You want a Kryptonian? You got one.
There we go. Ooh, oh, yes.
you just set free a school of Plutonian land sharks. But with what you set free,
Land sharks from Pluto? Pluto has life? The dwarf planet has life?
CJ Grant exclusive.
Kara, what do we do?
No, Cat, you
Everyone in the world is going to know that name. Kira.
Oh, for God's sake. No, Cat, you can't do this to her. You cannot do this to her.
My dream was about Cat, right? So what if we go back to right before she lets Naxxam out?
That would be smarter. That would be smarter. That could work.
Stop her. Looks like our luck is finally turning for the better.
Well, don't jinx it.
Hi, guys.
Oh, fuck me.
Don't be mad.
Really? You do this and you say don't be mad? Oh, no.
Let me help you find the reporter and change things back.
Okay. Well, hey, she's with you now. It's literally too late.
That feature wasn't hers.
No. Superhero.
No superhero, no. Stay and no superhero.
We can't do this, Nia.
What are you wearing?
What am I wearing? What are you wearing? Okay, Alex will tell you everything, okay? It's a wild story. It involves alien hunters, large explosions, and...
Gotcha, Miss Grant.
Literal finger guns, really?
No. My overreaching editor, Perry White.
PW, of course.
Oh, PW, Perry
So you do
White.
work for him.
Oh, so he's the cage keeping her. Oh, so it's metaphorical. Okay.
You're a visionary. You're formidable. You're friends with Oprah.
I am.
In
You
the
should be in the future.
spoiler alert, spoilers.
When I went to work for Perry, he started calling me CJ, and I just stuck with it. But Cat.
Nia's the cause of all of this. Nia is the cause for her own place of work and for her own not boss taking up that alias.
I'm never gonna forget you.
Oh, I would hope not. It would be really awkward if you did forget them
No, I
into the
wasn't
future.
talking to anyone. It was just
Yeah.
music.
I am done reporting on your shallow, insipid white noise. But I did not become a journalist to write about which celebrities in rehab. I became a journalist to make waves. It's Cat Grant.
And she is born. She is reborn as Cat Grant. Yeah, great job, Nia. Great job. There we go.
That's one mission down.
Great. The pink cougar. Yeah. Really twisted up from the Pink Panther. Interesting. Surrender be consent DEO.
what did you press?
Yeah, so the preset worked. Yeah.
Like the autopilot starting up.
Surrender beacon for DEO. Great.
Well, that's not good.
Oh no.
Okay. Cool. That was close. Okay, Kenny, maybe you should be really, really careful. You should be very, very careful right now.
Kara, wake up, Kara!
I think I just need to make more choices.
Try new
I need to
things.
figure out who I am.
Explore.
And it's great to know that I could be saved by you. But I think it's time that I figure out how to save myself. So,
He's gonna stay in Midvale.
I can't go with you. Best prom ever.
Oh, and even they're upset. Oh, they've got the rock with the DNA. Great. Finally, one more episode we can get Kara out of the damn Phantom Zone.
The lesson of high school. You're not meant to suppress the bad emotions. You're simply meant to endure them.
That is actually an unsurprisingly fair point. An unsurprisingly accurate point. So yeah, that was fun. That was fun. A very neatly packed, and a very neatly packed and kind of constructed part 2 and a conclusion to this duology. And hats off to Kyla as well, Kyla Lee, who plays the present day older Alex Danvers. I've heard that she's actually the one who directed this episode, so it was very fun, very enjoyable to watch. So hats off to her for doing such a great job getting everyone together and making it as good as it was. So yeah, I mean, I haven't really gotten a whole lot written down for this. I just kind of enjoyed stuff as it happened and kind of jotted down took down like a few notes here and there, but nothing overly kind of, discussion worthy, at least, like, nothing, like, there's just literally little kind of jots down here and there. Nia's powers in this one, like she is evolving as the episodes go by. It's so fun to watch. It's actually really fun to watch, like her, like, again, like her main issue is still there. Like it doesn't suddenly make everything okay and make her like the master of her own kind of mysticism or anything. But like while the main problem still persists, she still finds other ways to execute cool tricks and to be efficient and useful and everything. Like her literally being able to summon the pink cougar from her dream out into the real world, like her literally being able to kind of bring something from the dream world that she enters when she has these visions into the real world. So quite like literally when she turned and thrust her hands, I thought she was just going to summon like some kind of dream blast that knocked them on their asses, but no, it was 10 times better. She literally summoned the same pink cougar that she had actually been imagining and stuff. So that was really cool. So her powers in this season are getting a lot more screen time and it's getting a lot more kind of evolution. So super duper fun to see. Love that for Nia. And she also managed to deduce that the pink cougar was Cat, because Cat Grant actually found the pink cougar on the ship itself and actually managed to take it to snap a few pictures and stuff. I don't know. I think that was definitely. I mean, now it's been somewhat nullified because now like all the stuff on the ship, like Kenny getting locked up and Cat getting locked up and everything, never really happened. So that kind of thing has kind of been nullified. But then in the end, she still kind of drew a pink cougar because I think it's still just maybe that's her own kind of spirit animal. She just envisions herself as the pink cougar of the world or America or something like that. So she still drew that, but then I think I think that whole dream, like the whole dream she was having on repeat. She was envisioning that whole dream on repeat in various different ways, and then she managed to do. I think the entire thing, the entire thing somewhat ended up being like a metaphor too. Like the pink cougar was Cat Grant all along, but then the PW on the cage too. I feel like I should have put that together quicker, but then it's like, because it's so alien, I just never would have actually, until she even mentioned that, until she actually explained that, the pink cougar, the cougar is Cat. She is, she's an actual cat that, gets in and she poses a threat because of her persistence. Like, she is the cougar, and then the cage is Perry White. Like he's keeping her kind of caged up with the Daily Planet's kind of news and the stories that he assigns to her to chase that aren't really her style or aren't really kind of her kind of flavor and stuff. So the entire thing ended up being somewhat of like a metaphor. So that was a cool conclusion for that. But yeah, I think Nia engaging with Cat and Nia being the inspiration, Nia helping. I think that's easily one of my favorite things about this final season. Nia ends up being the one who actually inspires the creation of her own future place of work. Like I don't think I've ever seen someone like work so hard to future-proof their own employment status that hard. Like they just travel back in time, meet the woman who founds the company but isn't officially her boss because she joins Catco long after Cat actually leaves. So then she actually makes sure Cat actually goes. So I mean, it's for the sake of the timeline too. Like Catco has to exist and that kind of timeline has to maintain. But then knowing she's also working there as a journalist, it just kind of makes it that much more ironic and funny. She's just working that hard to make sure she actually has a job in the future. Just going back in time to to meet the person who actually, because I mean in that environment I don't even know if she actually meant to still run into Kat. Like I literally thought she just used her finger gun powers, which is really cool by the way, like her just forming like finger guns, and then just one magic dream bullet just takes out the drone. I thought she would do that and then just skedaddle. I did not think she'd end up sticking around long enough for Kat to actually notice her and just assume that she was one of like Perry's weasels, I think she called them, like sent to keep an eye on her and drag her back to Metropolis again. But she still kind of like she still managed to inspire Kat to follow her own path and to not be held down and held back by the Daily Planet and Perry White, and to actually start her own media empire and to be her own journalist and to chase her own stories and do what she wants to do. And then and even inspires her to pick up the name Kat Grant too, like the entire time she's been at the Daily Planet, like Perry's been calling her CJ Grant. So I'm wondering what the J, I think, because I mean if she is still Kat, then must be like Catherine, right? Or like I mean or Kathy, but I mean knowing Kat, I'd imagine like she'd have like she looks and just seems she seems more like a Catherine than a Kathy to me. So I mean maybe other people might try and call her Kathy for sure, but she would insist upon their graves that it is Catherine or Kat and stuff. So yeah, so then she had never even thought of Kat Grant, so Nia apparently ends up inspiring her to pick up that snappy kind of moniker, and then she inspires her to actually boot up Catco, and then later at the same hotel on the same bar, she calls up Perry. Like she answers a call from Perry, and then actually tells him that she quits and that she's gonna go start her own empire, and then she does. Like we know the timeline remains intact enough. I mean, I do wonder if that also messes with the timeline, because I think the way the original thing went, because I can't help but wonder like how the original thing must have even went. Like like Nia and Brainy never would have been there, but Kat must have still gone there trying to hunt down those miracle stories. So then did she actually, because I think it all comes down to whether or not those alien dudes actually were still there. If Maxim Talk and Mitch were still there, like if they still came along, then all that stuff would have gone down just without any kind of aid from Brainy or Nia. And then Alex and Kenny and Kara would have still had to deal with that. But then I don't know. Because I mean, I guess it depends on how vibrant Kara is. Because if Kara really does do anything to actually really show up on their radar, then they would actually be. Because I think their timeline was meant to be that they're meant to be in South America 2 years later, and then they actually get captured by the DO. But then there's no mention of I think there was never any specific mention of whether or not they actually did come to Midvale, or if it was because of Kara's kind of changed and amplified presence thanks to Brainy and Nia's crash and appearance, that maybe she popped up on their radar in some way. Because I mean, they already tried trying to catch Superman in Metropolis. They already tried to catch him, and then it was because of Kara's appearance in Midvale that the Naxim dude was if two Kryptonians on the same planet isn't a sign that I should at least try and capture one, then I don't know what is. So then Kara's actual amplified vibrance on that kind of radar was what drew them to them then. So then if they never crashed, then Kara likely would have actually still kept things on the down low with saving kittens and kids and whatnot. And then Nax I mean Kat might have still come, but then she never would have actually discovered anything alien, and she would have found out. She would have actually been led to believe, oh, there's nothing here. Then she would have gone back, and then maybe even after that she would have actually quit the Daily Planet and as normal, and then actually gone back. So it's all to do with Brainy. Them coming back amplifies Kara's kind of activity, and then that puts her on Maxim Talks radar, and then he goes out of the time stream. So again, time travel, don't do it. Learn from Barry Allen, don't do it. You either way you change the past and you mess up the future, but still, it's time travel, just don't do it. Leave it to the experts, the ones who have the willpower to resist any kind of past interaction and past meddling. Leave it to the experts, leave it to the ones who know just how sensitive the timeline and time travel can be. So lesson learned. But but going back to the whole Nia thing, I do love that she actually did kind of inspire her enough to actually do that, and to actually just I mean, like the scene in it, like in and of itself, did have that kind of essence of, oh, she's actually buttering up Kat to. I mean, not just kind of buttering up, but still actually hyping her up to give her that kind of confidence to actually be like, Perry, I quit. I'm gonna go start my own company. But then once you think about the aftermath, it's like, oh yeah, she is actually just making sure that the future stays intact. But then there's also the more kind of subtle kind of comedy behind it of her being like, I've just got to reinforce my place of work in the future. So yeah, that was cool though. That was cool. And it was really good to see some Danvers system wholesomeness in the beginning too, like Alex actually telling Kara that she was proud of her and that she actually was that she was actually proud to actually be able to come back and see that, like, despite the fact that she was brought back to keep an eye on Kara, she's able to see that, like, she's happy to see that Kara's actually able to kind of take care of herself and still put up a fight and protect and do something good with her powers. So she's not deliberately using them for mischief or any kind of like what's the word, like malevolence, is that the word I'm looking for, or like mischief, or like malevolence could be, yeah, I guess malevolence could be the word I'm looking for. Or just any kind of violence at all. Like she's literally using her powers to do good, to be good. So she is super, like she's still using her powers, and it always, there's always even the slightest chance that she might get caught or seen by someone she doesn't even notice, and then stuff gets out. And even that scene, like, I think that was honestly one of the things that annoyed me about Kat in this one. That she just like her persistence is what makes her such a great reporter. But at the same time, it's like, she just keeps pushing, and then she discovers a spaceship, and then she keeps pushing the buttons, and then she releases Maxim, Torque, and Mitch, and then she gets captured. And then even afterwards, like, I think what got to me even more was like when Kara and Kenny come out of the ship, and then she's actually insistent on actually exposing Kara. Like, yeah, it's like, I think she she hadn't. I don't know if she had actually. I don't know if she actually had seen Kara actually bursting through the ship and actually landing to help save them, or if she actually had run off before that. But either way, she's like, she still sees like a young human-looking girl, maybe displaying some kind of otherworldly or superhuman powers, and her first thought is literally to expose her to the world, like a teenage girl. Like a college age would still be teenage, right? Or like late teens, pretty much, late teens. But either way, she sees a young girl with these powers trying to do something good, and her first thought is to expose her. Like, she's, again, like, it's Kat. She's all about the news and the publicity and the press and everything. But still, it's like, surely Kat has some integrity beyond that. Actually, like understanding what the consequences would be for like an innocent person to be exposed and shown out to the world like that. Like, like. Yeah, I mean, like for Kara, like for grown-up Kara, like seeing it happen to grown-up Kara, like in season 1, is a different thing, because again, she's an adult, she's well aware of the consequences of what she could do, but then she still does it because she is kind of, she has her own persistence. She still strives to try and be good and to use her powers for good. So, despite all of that, I think she definitely still had her own kind of understanding of the consequences, and like she had her own maturity. But with this one, again, she's in college, she's still young. There's much to explore and much she wants to explore, but Kat is still kind of open to the idea of actually revealing the possibility of alien life living among humans and stuff like that. I don't know, it's like that just got to me. Like that just, like, as much as I love Kat Grant, that piece just kind of got to me and just made me think in very, very concerned ways. So yeah, but like again, the Alex and Kara scene in the beginning was really, really fun to see. And I think especially the fact that like Alex both acknowledged how she actually did feel, and the kind of the burden that had been placed upon her from like a young enough, like a fairly young, oldish kind of age, like an early teenage age and stuff, and then having lost her father, and then having lost most of her mother's attention because of Kara's kind of presence and her existence and what it means for people, and then suddenly turning into Kara's babysitter, and then actually like losing out most of her life so far because of that, and then finally having the opportunity to actually go to college and be herself for once. And she even learned to pick locks in college. She even learned to pick locks, so that is just ace maturity signs. So yeah, that is so cool that she actually learned how to pick locks in college. Like she Yeah, I don't even know if they actually mentioned. I mean, because I think she did go to med school. She did go to med school, even if she actually dropped out like a little bit through. I think she dropped out. I think we had the flashback back at like a few seasons back where she actually was kind of more the partying type girl. She went to clubs and got drunk, and then she landed in jail, and then Hank found her and recruited her into the DEO because she had a medical background and she could be useful. But I think that must have meant she dropped out of medical school and then moved straight into work with Hank and everything. But I think that her going to college, she must have been going for like a medical degree of some kind. So that's cool. But yeah, so she she goes there to study that, and then instead she learns to pick locks, and or at least it's one of the things she picked up. So either way, it's super cool. And I think I wish. What I wish we had. I wish we had gotten like a Brainy and or Nia, like a scene of them talking to Alex, who like them letting her confide in them, and them maybe obviously not spoiling her future, but actually reassuring her things do get okay. Like, obviously it's life, there are going to be hurdles, there are going to be obstacles there, like, right now, even in the present day. I mean, obviously don't tell her in the present day you're just depressed as all hell because your sister's lost in the Phantom Zone, but still kind of like telling her, like, don't, like, we're not going to spoil anything for you again, but take your time, discover who you are, and we can assure you we're from the future. So, I mean, that would mean giving their own identities away and actually revealing that they are actually, Brainy and Nia. But still, it's like, I don't know. I wish, like, I think that's one of the things that actually bothers me about the fake identity thing. The fact that, like, they can't really tell them who they really are and reassure them on some level that, don't worry, you're nervous now, but your futures are in safe-ish, pretty safe hands, and you do grow up to be awesome, mature, and independent, strong people, and you love each other and all that kind of stuff. So I think especially for Alex too, and Kara. For both of them, for Alex and Kara, actually facing their own fair share of hurdles, both individually and together. I feel like having like reassurance of the future would have been nice for them. And stuff, like, sure, they could actually discover it along the way, but actually just being reassured that, things do kind of be okay, and like they will kind of like figure themselves out as they plan to and as they intend to, would have been nice. But yeah, again, like the actors themselves, the actors for young Kara and young Alex are just phenomenal. Like they've gotten stuff nailed to the T, and I think in this episode too, like, I think Kyla, having played so much of present day Alex herself, she could have actually, I think, with Kyla having, I think the last episode would have been, probably was directed by someone else, but with this one being directed by Kyla, I feel like this one, the Alex, like I feel like the Alex screen time might have been like a teeny bit more prominent than last time, but in this one, like, whenever Alex was on screen, like, especially with like the hands on the hips moment, like she has so much more present day Alex energy years and years back. So we know she definitely grows into into more of the Alex that we actually know and are familiar with. But even from even from an early age, even from like a younger age, she still has that kind of energy where she's kind of taking control, and she's actually trying to remain calm and remain level headed and be that kind of person. So yeah, Kyla just did a great job actually directing her own like past self and everything, and actually making sure that young Alex felt authentic. And again, the actress playing her as well is brilliant. So yeah, both of them, both young Alex and young Kara actresses, are just phenomenal. So hats off to all three of them, hats off to all of them. And one little tidbit I didn't think would actually work, the moonlight still being able to recharge Kara. I thought, because like, I was thinking, like, it's night. If it's a full moon, maybe you've got like a fighting chance. Maybe if it's a full moon, you've got a fighting chance, and some werewolves could be out there trying to, be like, "Hey, stop hogging the moonlight, it's ours," or something like that. But no, I was thinking, like, the moonlight. That's only reflecting the light, and it's also super duper far away. The sun is. Is the sun further away? I think the sun is further away than the moon. Yeah, I forgot that for a second. The sun is indeed further away than the moon, but it's like, I figured because the moon would only be reflecting the sun and it wouldn't be powered directly from the sun itself. I figured, it's either gonna work very, very little or it's not gonna work at all. But then as soon as you open the door, the moon looks unnatural, like unbelievably close, and it's also like full moon levels of power, just like moonlight blaring onto her, and then because it's still solar energy being blasted off of there, reflected off of their Eve, and it still works. So that was convenient. That was awfully convenient. But hey, it was cool. It drove the plot forward. It allowed Kara to actually leave the room and to gain her own strength back and everything. So it worked. It was convenient, but it worked. So that was cool. The Brainy and Nia stuff was really cool too. Like they had a prom they had a prom night dance. Brainy getting dressed back up into his tux, and then Nia actually popping on another kind of shinier, silverier kind of dress. Like she just doesn't know how to wear. She just never wears bad clothes. Like anything, even the most casual stuff she wears, she looks great in. And I think again, as great as the purple dress looked, and I think the purple, like dark tones work great, and like lighter tones work great too. But I think as great as the purple was on her, this one was definitely a step up and more kind of like somewhat like I think the last one worked more as like a prom like a prom night eve kind of dress, but then for the actual prom night dress, she definitely wanted to go for the sparklier, shinier, more visible option, and she nailed it. She freaking nailed it, and even he was stunned. Even Brainy was stunned. So that definitely worked. And then for what it was worth, they got like a few minutes worth of an actual kind of prom dance and kind of reminiscing and talking and stuff, and that was really cool. So that was a really sweet moment between them, and even. I think one of my other favorite things was Brainy, like from time to time, actively half-assing, trying to sing the 9 to 5 song, like Nia actually took a breath and actually slowly goaded herself into it and then carried it on flawlessly. But then Brainy is like any other kind of casual singer who really doesn't care how they sound when they sing, just as long as they actually get the words right and actually are trying to sing. Like he's just literally just mumbling along, and even in like the cleaning closet, he's like just shaking his hands and like, yeah, let's do the 9 to 5, cup of ambition and everything. And then even through the forest, in the forest he actually seemed somewhat more in tune, but again he was still mumbling along and trying to, like he didn't really care about doing it in time or actually getting the timing right. He just cared about actually singing the song however he could. So I think that is I think that shows the clear parallels between with Nia. She takes the time, makes sure it actually works and stuff like that. But with Brainy, he wants the ending. He wants that satisfaction of having the song being able to work. But Nia, I think Nia has the voice. She has the kind of fluidity and the harmony and any other ease and stuff, but she knows how to make it work in a way that's natural and balanced, and her voice actually makes the song work, and she actively tried to take the time to calm Brainy down again, so it worked. But with Brainy just wants the ending, like that satisfaction without having to actually take the time to do the work. So yeah, he's got a lot to learn about coping mechanisms. He's got a lot to learn about coping mechanisms, so hopefully in time he can learn them and actually find one that he can do for himself, even if it's not singing. So hopefully that does end up working out for him. And the end of Kara and Kenny. So yeah, I mean, I think we can probably all say we collectively saw that coming, because again, they are not together in the future. So I feel like, and especially because of this whole dilemma, like the Midvale Uni versus NCU dilemma being presented pretty much at the beginning by Alex. I figured this was the way it was going. Like they both want kind of different-ish things. They want to go different ways and discover themselves. Like Kara wants to be able to make her own choices, to be her own person, to actually live her own life and see things. And she did. I mean, she was still more than happy to have Kenny be a part of that journey. But with Kenny, he still had his mother to take care of. He still kind of had to do that. And I think he himself also wanted to actually learn to actually look kind of after himself and to be able to save himself, like he said. He did a great job though. He did a great job actually helping out in whatever way he could, and Kat was not hesitant in the slightest about actually reinforcing his own strength and his own kind of efficiency and usefulness in any given situation. So that was cool. But yeah, I mean, that basically was the essence of that situation. Like they both loved each other dearly. They both loved each other, and I'm hoping I mean, again, not really saying much given the car is now stuck in the Phantom Zone, but I'm hoping like they did still like at least try and find a way to stay somewhat connected as friends in the future and in the present day. And I'm hoping he's doing well in the present day too. Maybe he's actually not too far from National City or something. So I don't know, but seeing them having such a peaceful and such a mutual and like, you know, like nonetheless emotional, but still like such a peaceful and well connected kind of breakup was still really, really heartwarming to see that they both respect each other and love each other as friends, and they're both more than happy to stay that way. But you know, in the end, the odds were not in their favor, and they both wanted different things, and respected each other for that specifically, that they both wanted different things, and those things were not uniting them in the future. So seeing that was cool, and I think more than anything, I'm just glad we kind of get Kenny back, and he's not just like collateral damage like he was in the previous Midvale episode and everything. So now we still have him back, and he still hopefully has like a good life in the future, still somewhat connected to Alex and or Kara. So seeing that was really cool and really fun. So that was super duper cool. And yeah, that is pretty much all I've got. That is pretty much all I have. So now the aliens themselves have actually been locked up in their own spaceship, and they've been sent to Uruguay. And I think 2 years. I think in time. I think I can't remember if it was specifically 2 years, but in time, they will be reached by the DEO. The what's it called? Not self-distress, what's it called? Surrender. So the surrender beacon was sent from the ship to the DEO, so in time the DEO will find them and they'll be arrested, and then the timeline will be back in sync. So pretty much the entire third act was actually dedicated to actually solving one mission after the other, and actually in terms of actually restructuring and reinforcing the original timeline, actually making sure things went according to plan, and loose ends were tied up and everything, so that was cool. And they still managed to get the rock. They managed to get the rock with Kara's DNA on it. So now, hopefully next episode we can see them getting back to the present, and then actually managing to find Kara using the Prime Phantom and his instinct and the DNA and all that kind of jazz, and hopefully getting Kara back in time, and then the rest of season 6 can take place, and it will be a happy ending. And one can hope and dream as much as they want. So yeah, it was a fun episode. It was a really fun episode, so I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys thought. Leave your comments down below and all your thoughts and theories for what comes next. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So that was Supergirl Season 6, Episode 6. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this episode. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode, and what you thought of what you thought of everything that happened, and what you're looking forward to coming forth into season 6, and what your theories are for what else might happen. And once again, the full-length reaction for this episode will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.